Good morning. I am AnimusKellen, and this video is about getting into TCG as a non-TCG player. Well, more specifically about me getting into Flesh and Blood. As some of you may know me or may remember me by, I play Super Smash Bros. Or I used to play Super Smash Bros. Right? And I used to kind of be top 10 in San Antonio. I mean, I was, but I didn't really compete for too long. Um, and I really gave TCG games like a chance. Like for example, there was times that I played Yu-Gi-Oh, but I wouldn't stay too long. Be like for like a month or two. But I'm trying to give Flesh and Blood a chance. For those who don't know what Flesh and Blood is, it's a TCG game. First off, the owners, from what I can tell, are TCG players, and they're pretty cool for the most part. I think sometimes there's some sets that I don't like. But I keep up with Flesh and Blood, at least from the knowledge of what's going on. And I decided to try competing more. Now, getting into Flesh and Blood might be a little intimidating because the rules of the game are a little different. Um, I mean, you still have your resource system for the most part, and there's different like classes. It's very D&D esque, where you have like rangers, you have like wizards. I don't know if CC has wizards anymore. You have like ogre brutes, you have assassins, like things like that, right? You have ninjas, you have like elemental classes, which is pretty cool. And when I first got into it, I was playing Azalea, a ranger, during Outsiders, and now getting back into the game. Um, I don't think I like that. I don't think I like that anymore. I wanted to play assassins, and getting into Flesh and Blood may seem intimidating. I already repeated myself there, but also because the price is kind of expensive. Like, let's look at. Let me go ahead and open up this window here. Let's go ahead and look at what happens when like I wanted to play Azuri, right? Let's look up Azuri. Um, let's look at the guy who won Pro Tour Amsterdam, right? This was before the Hunted, and there's a lot of different cards here, a lot of Majestics. However, if you look at the pricing, it's like 1,700, dude. I mean, even flick knives alone, which is like a really core equipment for like assassins and even ninjas. Like, I remember when I got mine, right? They were at like $80. Like literally, this is around the time that I got like my flick knives, right? And now they're like 190. Not literally, but you know what I mean, right? Like I think even cold foils could probably go up to that range, and that's kind of crazy, right? So it might be a little intimidating to get into this game and be like, damn, I have to shell out like literally like like 3 months worth of rent. um, but that's just kind of assassins. I'm pretty sure. Like, let's look at bum. Let's look at a different hero. Let's look at Syndra, right? Syndra got first and second at the Calling for Memphis, Tennessee, which is a pretty big tournament. And this deck's like this one's $1,000. You're looking at Flick Knives, the most pricey thing there. Shelter from the Storm. I mean, that's also pretty expensive as well. That one's a little cheaper. Right now, that's like now instead of 3 months worth of rent, you're looking at 2 months worth of rent. Uh, so let's go ahead and let's look at some of the heroes that actually might be a little bit more doable, right? Let's not look at ninjas or assassins because, from my experience, those are kind of the most expensive ones. Actually, in fact, let's look at. I'm from San Antonio, and I went to the Road to Nationals tournament, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Road to Nationals San Antonio with Shenanigans Gaming. I think first place was Viserai. I might be wrong. First place, I probably was Viserai. Let's look at the one that got fifth in Memphis. About $700, right? Now, do you need all of these cards? It would help, honestly. Uh, but this is this is all for Classic Constructed. There's different formats. There's different formats like Blitz, Commoners, and then also like if you really want to get into the game and try it out, just just get like an Armory deck, right? You can get like Armory Dash or Armory Azuri or Armory Azalea or Jarl, right? You could do that. Um, oh yeah, this guy has not gotten any results. But the point here is that if you just go to a tournament, right? The Flesh and Blood community is super duper kind, right? And I'm going to show you how kind they are. I'm going to get into it with my tournament at the Road to Nationals that I went to. Road to Nationals, San Antonio, Shenanigans Gaming. I went into it. I had to get up at 10 a.m. or I had to get up at like 8:30 a.m. to get there. And I had a bunch of trades to do to get my deck full powered. And I wanted to play Arachne Marionette. However, the person I was trying to make a deal with ended up not going, and he gave me a reason, and I believe him. Like I get it. Like I don't want to go into, but like I believe it, and I can understand it, right? I'm not gonna be mean to someone just because they're like, I can't do this anymore. I totally get that. It's totally reasonable. Would have wished it still could have happened, but it's okay. Now, because of that, I had most of my deck except for the key parts, Arachne Marionette, which is these guys. Because there's just no real consistent way for me to mark someone. There's Marks of the Huntsman, which is like if you hit them, you can just choose to break your weapon, but I can leave that once. And if I have two of those weapons and I break them and they both failed because they didn't hit, you know what I mean? Like, I really, like, there's just no consistent way of doing it. I can't do it more than twice with those weapons. With this one, it's indefinite. With the same cost, too. And I really needed those, so I was like, actually, can't do it. So I was scrambling for Azuri. Because I think she's kind of cool, right? I think she's kind of cool. However, because I only really had Spider's Bite, because it's a common, I didn't have things like Scale Peeler or Nerve Scalpel, which would have been come in handy. But I also couldn't get a Tunic, because those weapons that I needed also were part of the Tunic deal. But I had everything else I pretty much need. Maybe not like spreading plagues, looking for scraps, and like the weakest link, right? I didn't have all those ready, but everything else, I think I had pretty much gotten everything I needed. However, because I was planning to play with Marionette, my deck wasn't too balanced. Like, it just didn't work out, basically. A lot of times I felt like I just had to get rid of my marked cards, and that maybe I should have considered removing those before I played. But it was too late at the time, and we played. However, because I didn't get my Tunic, and because I completely forgot about a headpiece, right? Because I was going to use Mask of Deceit, I didn't have those. However, a friend let me borrow his Tunic, and someone else that I'm aware of. I wouldn't say we're friends, but he's super nice. And when I asked him if he knew anyone that would have something for sale or for rent, he just let me borrow his. Like, honestly, like, that was super cool, dude. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, you should just go to a Flesh and Blood tournament and get like an armory deck if you really want to try it out, and like just have fun, because people will just give you the cards that you might need. Like, they won't give them to you, but they'll let you borrow them for sure. Everybody's super kind. I don't think I've had a single bad experience with anybody. Like, it probably ranges from like people who are like super ready to help you out and to get you going, and to like people who are like had a long day at work and may not be as enthusiastic but are still enjoying their time. That's pretty much been my experience so far. Had a lot of fun at Roads National. I went like 0-5, which is fine. I had a lot of fun anyways. I took a bunch of notes, and we're going to talk about what I learned. Because I think it's important for other people who might be trying to get into Flesh and Blood to learn what I've learned, right? So I took some notes after each match, because I don't like losing. And I think it's really important for me that if I want to win more, I would need to take notes. Because unlike a game like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, right? Or I guess any other TCG, like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, I don't think Flesh and Blood has like a matchmaking system. I think Talisar, I think that's what it's called. You need to like queue up with somebody, or like see who's like pending for queue to like match with them, if that makes sense. I don't think there's actually a random matchmaking system, which is fine. Like, I would rather play with people in person because it's really difficult for me to read things on the screen because it just really tires me out more than reading the physical cards. Um, Alrighty, so let's look at my notes. First mistake. I kind of realized I just couldn't mark my opponent at all, like consistently. Like I could, uh, but just when I really needed it, I just couldn't. I had too many cards in my percentage deck. I think sometimes my percentage deck would have like 70 to like 75 cards, and then I just couldn't get my Yuzuri combos that I really needed, like with Isolate. Um, my first game was with an Aurora, and he was just racing for damage. Like he was just like take the hits, deal the hits back, and I'm pretty sure I remember something like this before, and that's okay. I think I could have won, but I misplayed pretty hard on one turn where I had a card. Um, I forgot what it was. I probably can find it right here. Honestly, it was like Bonds of Agony, I think. Yeah, it was Bonds of Agony. I triggered the effect to get a bunch of this chain link reactions. Probably was something like, I think it was not Isolate. I think it was Backstab. I think it was Backstab, which no defense reaction to playing this chain link into this, and I did that. And because I used my black tech to also count as a trigger for the three or more reactions to chain link, it had Go Again, and then I played my E Strike with Go Again, and then I played my Codex. However, instead of putting something like maybe Pick to Pieces, or maybe like literally anything else that would have been good to put on, that's like a zero cost. I think even a one cost would have been fine. No, it had to have been a zero cost for me to have played. I put Surgical Extraction, and that stayed in my arsenal for the rest of the game because I just could not pay the resources to activate this. Because I mean, I could have, but then I would have had to end my turn because there's no Go Again. So I'm thinking now, I think I put somewhere in my notes where it's like, I need to like, this needs to be like a side deck card where I could use this for like maybe Zen, um, and maybe Prism. I think there was another card that I was thinking like maybe I should use this for Prism more, but you get my point, right? Something I don't want always in my deck because I can't always play it. It is not always going to make a big impact unless the matchup calls for it. I needed to keep track of my frailty token. I think my opponent even forgot, which is fine. I could have maybe lived another turn, but it's okay. I'm not gonna. Doesn't matter. And because I had surgical distraction in my arsenal and could never play it, with the Codex of Frailty, my Ponder token couldn't proc. Like it would proc, but I couldn't arsenal and then draw four. You know what I mean? So, and also because I didn't have an arsenal, I didn't have anything to play with it, right? Now, my next match was with a Prism. So, actually, let's show off Aurora for anyone new that might be watching. Yeah, this is Elemental Runeblade. Uh, this one got third for calling from Memphis, and it's a pretty expensive deck. Also, just like looking at the pricing, I also wanted to point out, right? Uh, like they're bringing like multiple headpieces and chest pieces, and I just wanna point that out just in case people might feel intimidated about the price a little bit. You don't need all these cards, and like it would make things more like I guess better, in terms of competing and winning like more and more consistently. But you can still do it. I think it's possible, honestly. Um, so that was my first round. Second round was with Prism. I did play Flesh and Blood when Everfest came out, and I did not like Old Prism. I did not like it at all. Um, and look at that. That one got first at Memphis, and this was only 500. Is it like the? Wait a minute. Let me check something out here. I thought I thought Syndra. Hold up. I'm gonna go on a tangent here real quick. Hold up. Yeah. Wait a second. Wait a second. Huh? Calling Battle Hardened, Memphis. So calling and Battle Hardened are different, apparently. Um, but they took place. I'm gonna take a look into it. I'm gonna contact someone and ask them the difference. Either way, right? Yeah, I don't like this character. Um, I need to carry more stuff with 6 base attack for Phantasm, right? That was my most important thing. I needed to have more yellows, and I need to play with pick to pieces more. Like, I probably should carry 6 pick to pieces instead of 3, because if I can hit them directly and do the damage can't be prevented, I pop all their wards, and I think that's super duper important for me. I need to put more D-Reacts. Maybe I should put 3 Fate Foreseens and 3 Sick Belows instead of just 3 Sick Belows. And this is where I realized that my arsenal needs to have specifically cards that I can combo with. So let's go back to Azuri. Like cards that I need to combo with, or to start my combo, specifically starting combo, would be things with stealth. So if I had like, where is it? Isolate, right? I need to put this in my arsenal instead of like surgical extraction or like shakedown, right? These need to be in my hand, whereas this needs to be in my arsenal. And even though I might be able to do more, I should really consider setting up my turn. Like for example, if I didn't have enough resources to play these two in a combo, what I should do is do the resource to play this and then arsenal this, because arsenaling this it's just not worth it. That's what I've realized by that by my second game. Third game played against a Zen. Lots of combo cards. I don't know how to block them. I think that was the hardest part for me. Let's look at Zen here. Zen, Tamer, Mistveil. Yeah, see, not too much. Not too much comparatively to others. Where is it? Yeah, they were just like constantly throwing crouching tigers at me, and I just didn't know what to really do. Like I didn't know what parts to block. I was trying to block mostly on hit effects, but not all of them did. Some of them were just like, because this card exists, it does more damage now. With like future cards, I think Amnesia might work on that. I might be wrong. And I had a specific thing where I realized a specific Azuri card that like yeah, this one, Bonds of Agony, that lets me banish specific cards from their deck and their hand and their grave, which could benefit, like be more beneficial to me to the future. Yes, Amnesia might be able to help out too. um yeah, I think Amnesia would have been super helpful. I need to get that. And honestly, I should just probably ask somebody like, hey, how do I block Zen? Because I feel like I should only be blocking like named cards, like these kinds of cards, rather than like blocking his crouching tigers. I don't know. Maybe I just need to get better at deck building and having a better combo when I draw my 4 cards, right? And then I played a tech. Um, I don't think I really enjoyed this last one. Not tech. I think it was Max the Hype Nitro. Uh, I don't know. I don't think this is a good deck. We basically just raced for damage, but early on I was trying to block it. And I kind of realized he would just let me hit him, and then hoping that he gets his like really quick 10 damage cards. Um, I don't know. Nothing too eventful happened there. I don't think there was any notes. I think if anything, uh, I should have just done more damage. So that was the conclusion on that. Um, Even though I didn't do too well, uh, battle like the road to nationals was super fun. Everybody was super kind. I talked to a lot of people from different cities like Austin and Houston. Um, and again, people were super super nice and allowed me to borrow cards that I really needed, which I thought I would have. But I mean, again, I'm not too bothered by it, but I'm just super grateful. And everybody was super nice, super chill. And you just really don't see that, right? I'm gonna put my camera back on here actually. You just don't see that, right? Because like, let's look at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, right? For those of you who play TCGs but don't play like FGCs, um, not everybody is mean in Smash, but like everybody is like really, really like starves for like what do you call it? It's on the top of my head. It's not attention, but like validation, right? So like everything they do, like every win, everything they do is something they've done and they've worked really hard for, and they want people to recognize that. And if you aren't part of that, like if you are not like willing to see that, they just kind of get really upset by that. Not everybody's like that, but you're more than likely to engage with those people because they're within the same community, and you just hear them because they're loud, man. And I think it's kind of calmed down for the most part. I kind of checked in on them recently because I haven't played in a few months, and I mean, for the most part, it's pretty chill. And there are good people, and there are really cool people that I like hanging out with and that I like talking to, that are my friends. Uh, but like Flesh and Blood, like the community itself is just so different from like my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh and my experience with Pokemon and my experience with Smash or I guess Melee too, right? It's just so different, man, and it's just so much more welcoming. And this is something that, for those of you who tune in to the AnimusKellen podcast, I have Bonray with me. And something that we really talk about a lot is about how do we get people to stay in Smash, and how do we get new people to come and stay and play the game, right? Because people just kind of want to come in and just talk. They don't even want to play the game. Uh, and the ultimate thing that we realize is that you have to be nice to people, and you have to be welcoming and engaging and kind of encouraging them. And Flesh and Blood has that like all down the list. Like, I think the reason why Flesh and Blood is alive still, despite how small it might seem, uh, the reason why it's so like cool is just because like the people are cool. You know what I mean? Like I think that's just cool, man. Um, for those of you that know Rally, everybody was super nice to Rally. Comparatively to like the Yu-Gi-Oh and the Magic community and the Pokemon community, Flesh and Blood has been like super consistently respectful to her. And that's just really hard, man. Like that's just really that's really hard. And she has talked about maybe getting into it, so maybe that might happen. Uh, and that's just crazy, man. I'm really glad I picked this game. I had a lot of fun. Um, and I do want to play more, right? I had a lot of fun at the RTN despite not winning anything. Uh, I think there's a lot more to happen, and I do want to get good at the game. It's just I have to play more, and I have to put more time into it, and I have to do more stuff, right? Which is cool. This is fine. That's part of improving, right? Uh, Man, I had a lot of fun yesterday. For the Road to Nationals, I'd like to go for the one in Austin, but anyways, this video is mostly for I want what I would like is to have something for new players to look at and see also a new player um, trying to get good at the game and where I find information and how I kind of deal with certain situations. Because a lot of times um, there just isn't really a way for, I guess, new players to know what the fuck's going on. Because, like, there's so many different formats and there's so many different words. Like I literally have a list of things that like when I was trading cards, like what is EA, what is RF, what is CF, what is WTT, what is WTB, what is WTS, what is LTS, right? Uh, but there's really like nothing that I can just look at and be like, this is what everybody's talking about. This is what everything means. This is what everything is doing. Here's how to keep up with everything. Not true, actually. That's not true. What I mean to say is that there's not a place where it is super easily digestible, where you are capable of looking at it for 15 minutes and understanding what's going on. I had to put a lot of time into it, a lot more time than what other card games or what other fighting games might have. And I think that's the one place I think Flesh and Blood struggles with, is where people who are really impatient just can't sit down and look at something for 15 minutes and understand everything that's going on. I think that's the main issue. And if somebody's able to figure that out, man, I mean, that's a gold mine, honestly. And I want my percentage because I gave that idea out. Honestly, I'm serious. If you can really get people to like understand the entire game or like a good amount of it, the basics within 15 minutes, and they're able to start enjoying it like at a moment's notice, you could probably encourage way more people to play. That's why Smash is so popular, right? Even though tournaments may not be too big nowadays, we used to have like 100-man locals on Thursdays, and they were just people who have always played Smash, people who were new to Smash, and that's just because it's so easy to get into it, man. Like you just need to buy the game and push the A button or maybe push the B button, and then you start hitting your opponent and you move forward, right? But with Flesh and Blood, there's really so many different things going on. There's so many heroes and things that you really, really have to like understand and know the matchups of beforehand, because there isn't like a game two to really adjust. You really only have one game. You know what I mean? I think that's my only thing where I'm like, if Flesh and Blood community were to ever figure that out, I think it just cracks wide open and a bunch of people start coming in. That's just how I see it. That's my vision there, right? And that's kind of my goal, kind of, where I just want new people to be able to look at what I'm looking at and kind of learn all that information really quick. Okay, now we're kind of reaching a little bit too far here. We're looking at like 30 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. I will try to be posting more Flesh and Blood videos. As far as Smash, for those of you that know me through Smash, if I'm around, I guess I'll enter a tournament, but I'm just not too interested nowadays. It's rare that I ever touch Smash. That's pretty much it. Well, thank you very much for your time and hope you all have a good day.